Well, Charles, the dogs were barking. I don't know if those are the dogs of war or just dogs in the park.
I don't know. Full mental racket. We're in the middle.
Full mental racket, right.
We're in the middle of it.
Here's a dog of war. He's poised to attack.
To bring somebody donuts.
But it's not a joke. We are really now, more than ever, on the verge of something terrible after this terrorist attack in Moscow.
It's really a very dangerous, disrespectful, worse than a clown show. I mean, we have, I remember when Trump was poised to win, and the deep state and everybody was sure that he would start World War III. That was the refrain. He's going to start World War III. Look around the world.
How is it now? How you like me now?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's really this notion that you can get up as a world leader of a top country and start referring, once top country, referring to your rival, let's just say, if you want to call him an enemy, as a killer and a thug.
Right.
You know, where's the evidence for that? There's a lot of evidence, I think, that policies of Joe Biden and his hapless band of idiots who are at the top of the so-called Biden administration, the maladministration, what they have done to vulnerable women and children with this open southern border, open northern border, just that alone, you know, it's a disaster.
It is.
And we don't really yet know because the kids disappear. We don't know. It's not like there's firm knowledge of who's leaving Central America to come here in Mexico. We simply don't know. And we only apprehend some of the people who come across the border. So we don't know how many children and women and young boys have been sold into sex slavery because of this. And my suspicion is quite a few of them, they're probably sent directly to Washington, D.C., where there's quite a market possibly for Epstein-style bullshit.
Right.
So, you know, I think the art department once again has done a fantastic job with the poster. It happens that it's, I think, dead on, the poster, and unfortunately a description of where we are. Here we have two wonderful people.
Oh my gosh.
Should we, which way do you want to go? Up? Maybe
however.
up third? Maybe we'll go.
Sure.
Yeah, and we can go to Kips Bay.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's where a squatter, two squatters actually, broke into someone's apartment and killed her and stuffed her in a box or something.
Right, for her daughter or son to find when she went missing. I mean,
how are they not immediately changing this law about squatters, Charles? It seems like they can change laws to allow E. Jean Carroll to sue Trump and all that. Here's your Rivian, Charles.
Right.
And they can change laws to get people taken off of ballots and whatever. But, you know, if somebody can make their way into your house, forget it. It's their house, and now you got to spend 10 years and all your money suing them.
Well, see,
and they might win.
The prism of the way these assholes are viewing things is the prism of power. So what they want to do is they want at least 50%, if not 90% of the population to be desperate and hoping for some sort of things.
Martial law?
Well, no, hoping for benefits to be provided by the government. So they want to be in charge of doling out favors.
Ah, right.
And then they also want to be in charge of deciding who gets prosecuted for crimes.
Definitely.
And they want to make it clear that you're a fool to be a Republican, because in most of the big cities, Democrats control them, and the staffs of most of the courts and the staff of the IRS, staff of many other places that can cause you a lot of pain are Democrat.
Well, I would put a little nuance on that, in that I don't think they care if you're a Republican so long as you're willing to be a rhino. It's just anybody who goes against anything in their agenda at all,
right,
they slam.
Right, and I can remember thinking back decades ago to my career when I got to college. Even at Yale, it was okay to be conservative. What's this?
Some kind of fire, I guess. Maybe people like to throw cigarettes down the subway.
One guy doing work and two guys doing work and two guys watching with the course the truck is on.
Well, they need to do that because there's pumps for water and stuff. And
I don't see them using it.
But I mean, it's a fire truck. I kind of am okay with the fire department. They never bother me.
Well, I have insider stories about,
Really?
Yeah, I have a good friend.
I need to get drunk and get into fights and
No.
stuff.
I had a good friend who was on the fire department in Albany, and then he retired. He came collecting a big pension. He married a banker, second wife. She was wealthy, and then he went to the New York City Fire Department, and his claim to fame was that he was a great cook.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so the way it works is, if you have somebody who's a great cook,
He's always the
that
cook.
person is, and his job is to keep everybody fed.
We did a show about that. What was it called? Fire. It was about
You
going
and I
to
did,
different. Well, no. In LA, when 3D was hot, we were trying to get a 3D cooking show off the
Right,
ground
yeah, it
because
would be funny.
Discovery Channel said we want everything: cooking shows, reality shows,
Right.
whatever. So we feeding the fire. That's what it was called. And the premise was we only shot a pilot, but the premise is we were going to go to all these firehouses because one of my guys on my crew, his brother was a Chicago firefighter in that exact role. He was the chef.
Right.
And he told me that every fire department has
That's the
somebody
same
like
deal,
this.
yeah.
And we did one episode of that show.
Right, and look, they do good work, but typically in this city, what I see is there are always, 3, 4, 5 times as many trucks as you may need.
Right.
Which tells me that perhaps there's overstaffing. And anyway.
Out of all the problems we have,
That's
my
mine.
lowest beef is with
Right.
the fire department.
So here on this, this remarkably vicious.
It's a Hornet, Charles, made in Italy. You definitely
Right.
don't want a car made in Italy.
Yeah, this remarkably vicious attack in the theater in Moscow.
Oh, yeah.
It is reprehensible that Joe Biden could not muster the time on his another vacation to issue a statement.
How could he go on vacation?
He's always on vacation. His brain, his clutch doesn't work. His brain, body,
stuck in neutral.
It just doesn't work. I mean, recently you see him speaking and he's just uttering gibberish. But it's reprehensible that the leader of a once powerful nation like the U.S. should be able to look at what happened and say, "Now wait a minute. This is I watched some of the video. I couldn't watch it.
But this is walking right up to people and shooting them.
So you put your differences
in a theater. It's not like they went to some military base in Russia or bombed some military airport. They're going and shooting kids and ladies and
and then to try on for size. And honestly, we don't yet know the truth, and it's going to take time to know the truth. But again, I always talk about contrast. When Nord Stream blew up, how many years ago was that?
2?
We don't know officially what happened there. Our CIA doesn't know, but instantly we knew that it was ISIS-K. Instantly?
That's just...
I don't buy that at all. And the behavior of the cokehead, douchebag, fake president, comedic president, tragic president of Ukraine. He just gave a speech moments before we began this where he went into tripling down on Putin's a thug, Russia's a murderers. This is obviously the work of Putin.
Oh yeah, that Russia did it to themselves.
Yeah, it
again.
makes sense. Yeah,
But just even their explanation of why that would be makes no sense. They're saying they're doing that. The allegation is that Russia did this to drum up public support for escalation of the war. And I'm thinking that is ridiculous because Russia doesn't need, they could just launch, they just launched a record-breaking missile strike the day before, demonstrating that they don't feel they need to any kind of public increase of support to escalate the war.
Right, now I'm saying this in the YouTube section, but I'll say it because there's increasing reporting of polls and other examples where people legitimate questions are raised about what happened in 2020. So I'm not coming down one way or another, but people have raised, look at this idiot.
Well, they were yelling at Ronna McDaniel, I think, on NBC. Oh yeah, it was Chris Wallace saying, do you really still believe that there was a question about the 2020? And then now they announced that Ronna McDaniel is getting paid but not going to have a show.
Oh, it's just ridiculous.
But I mean, do people not understand the concept of a payoff? Has there ever been a more obvious?
Right. She was, it was shame on Trump because, Trump
should probably win an Emmy for not having a show, Charles.
She hasn't already?
I don't know.
No, but shame on Trump for Trump had a decision to make about whether he kept her in that role, and he kept her in because supposedly she did a good job in Michigan. Thanks. So, really? I don't think so. But, back on this point I was trying to make, you have legitimate questions about 2020. You have...
Hang on, we are getting blasted by the wind. Let me see if I can help that a little.
Okay. or legitimate questions about the American election results, and then Putin wins in his election with a very high percentage of the total. You can question it if you want. Seems pretty high to me. You can question the whole way in which the election was conducted over there. But how do you...
Sorry, Charles. How do you what?
How do you stifle any inquiry in the moment as to what may have happened in November of 2020? You know, so people raise questions at home. Well, can't do that. You know, Hillary gets to talk about 2016 forever. You know, but people who have legitimate questions about the American election results, they can't talk. And immediately, Biden is out there, and others are out there in the administration, you know, refusing to congratulate Putin on winning, saying his, you know, election may be illegitimate. And meanwhile, that toad, Chuck Schumer,
Right.
is, you know, going to the floor of the Senate, where he's protected by rules, and suggesting that Netanyahu is, you know,
They gotta go.
yeah, it's outrageous.
We're interfering. It's foreign interference.
Right, and you know, I was against it. The Iran-Contra thing was an abomination. I was against the W. Bush regime change everywhere except the places that actually attacked us.
Right.
And I'm certainly against the Obama, Hillary, and John Kerry period, where the official business of the United States was regime change. And look how that's worked.
Look, another weed store, Charles. Thank goodness.
Exactly.
We don't have enough of those. How are they going to move enough weed?
Right. Well, enlist the aid of Eric Adams. But
Right.
you know, so this, and then we see the Atlantic, which is owned by
Steve Jobs' wife.
Yeah, and I looked it up, and it's owned by something called the Emerson Collective.
Oh, the magazine is?
Yeah, and
I
it's
didn't realize that.
and that's why I sent you an email, and the Emerson Collective is dedicated to, in the words of the collective, philanthrocapitalism, which is crap. You cannot combine philanthropy and profit. Can't do it.
But they have.
Well, of course, because they bought off the regulatory apparatus. Oh, yeah, I got cash. Not for you. It's ridiculous.
Speaking of cash, there's been some developments in the whole Fannie, or what's her name? Letitia James trying to snag $500 million from Trump, where he said he has it. Apparently, it was from some public financial disclosure about the campaign, where they learned that he had that amount of money there, and they're trying to basically lock it all up so he can't campaign. It's so blatant what is being done that anyone who supports it...
It's rule of the jungle. You replace, you know, rule of law with the rule of the jungle. And
it's brutal.
And it's absolutely brutal. And Fannie Willis knows no shame. Now
She's tripling, quadrupling, and quintupling down.
Right. The train is coming to take the Trump people and the other defendants.
We're getting really windblown here.
Yeah. It's sustainable. Can you speak up?
What is that cackling?
That's big. Who told me that?
Let's get by, because I might have guns.
Who told me that though?
You never know what breaks out in a scuffle there.
But Fannie Willis, Charles, she was being interviewed at some kind of rally or something where she said she did nothing wrong,
Oh, no, she
that
said,
black women, white women, Asian women all support her, that this train isn't stopping, and she thinks she's going to continue with this prosecution. She doesn't realize that Scott McAfee has approved
an appeal.
the appeal to go forward, which could still see her disqualified from this case.
Should.
And you've got multiple attorneys that are going to be entering motions to get her disqualified. So it's pretty good odds on getting her kicked to the curb.
Right. I mean, there are people, though, who love Angela Davis. They love, you know, Bill Ayers, and they love Barack Obama and this idea of social justice warriors. They love it until that approach comes to bite them in the ass, which is happening now. You're seeing
How is it happening to
well,
them?
because to all of us, inflation is raging.
I don't think
I
they
went
realize
in.
that.
I don't know what people pay outside Manhattan, but I went in to treat myself to a bagel and cream cheese and coffee, and $6.25. It's absurd.
It is.
Wasn't even toasted. The toaster was broken. Didn't even have a choice of bagels.
That's crazy.
You know, This is the place here.
I smell a gas leak.
Let's see, it's
Do
either
you smell that?
Yeah, it's a 204 or 206.
Oh, where that woman
yeah.
got stuffed in the box?
31st Street here, yeah. There should be police tape.
But what are they doing? Did they arrest the squatters or they're...
I don't know. Need a gift. Let's see, what is this? 206 is a dump. It's either 206. Let's see. 206 or let's look at 204. It's probably not this place.
What's the diner?
Yeah, it
It's
was here. 206. So let's cross the street and look at the building.
Here's an electric
Yeah,
Jeep.
so what it is it's that building. So the entrance is there.
Yeah.
And, a horrible story that somebody, a woman inherited an apartment. She was trying to clean it out, and two squatters were there and killed her.
But how is it that you and I do a video with Cy Hirsch, it gets taken off of YouTube, and some guy from Venezuela who's a gang member tells everybody the tactics and laws surrounding home invasions and squatting, and that is allowed to go viral?
Because life is not fair, and
It's not about not fair. If someone is driving that content and suppressing ours.
right. I'm just saying that process is not fair, right? I mean, the narrative. What are we doing, Jason? We're crowdsourcing the truth.
Yeah, they hate that.
The truth, they don't like that. Not
Oh,
in.
I need to mention, Charles, a lot of people might have missed yesterday's video where I interviewed Lev Parnas, and I released it only on Crowdsource the Truth 11. Well, also on all of the sponsor channels,
Should
on
we-
Odyssey and everything.
Should we drill into that more in the?
Well, just for a second, I just want to let people know, if they aren't yet on Crowdsource the Truth 11, I put it on there because I did not trust Lev Parnas, and I suspected that he might try to say or do something that would get the channel struck.
Right.
So I'm just going to leave it there on Crowdsource 11 and on odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth and crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com and subscribestar.com and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth, where we will also be in the First Amendment Forum in about 10 minutes. But we have Lev Parnas revealing what a liar he is in executing the Russia hoax.
Right. Right. And on this whole Russia hoax, it's amazing. Not amazing. It stands to reason that the portions of the business world and the influence shaping world that want to have a big role in China are dead silent on the abuses inside China, the growing militarization in China, the economy blowing up in China, the stealing of intellectual property from China, the role China has been playing facilitating the invasion into this country of people and fentanyl.
Infiltration in the NYPD.
And other police forces and universities. They're all in for that. But a nation that is 1/10 the size, Russia,
Ooh,
that's a monumental threat. Is that your car? Your car?
not mine, but it was a good one.
Right? I mean, it's just, again, the contrast is absurd.
It is.
And
They're
and-
back with the bleach lie about Trump. They're just pulling out all the lies. They had Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and
he wasn't there.
Kamala
Joe Biden.
Harris.
Biden appeared by video.
Yeah, no, just on video, but they had the three of them. It's like, why is Obama here? Just to remind people that you know him?
Right. Well, Obama is,
Piece of shit.
well, he's, in the eyes of the, quote, intelligentsia, he's the magic wunderkind.
Yeah.
The person who could do no wrong. I mean, if you go and you look at the 2006 or maybe 5 relationship of revenues to expenses, I don't think we want to go further.
No,
east.
I mean, just look at this brand new empty thing.
Yeah. Yet another one.
Well, let's head maybe over to Trump Tower.
I was thinking we'd go up 37.
Okay.
Because that's where the street I used to live on, just
Sure.
to see what's changed. But we can go. But you contrast the the government spending, the government expenses, still in the war on terror, right? Still in Afghanistan, still in Iraq in 2005. But the deficit was tiny compared to what it is now. And we have Puddinghead and inflation is transitory, getting out there and saying, well, he's doing a great job reducing the debt, Biden, and he's brought the deficit down. The economy's never been stronger. Then they set this guy, he was like a communications idiot. He's been in communications for a while, out in mainstream, I think with Scarborough. Let's just go over here for a second.
But wait, you've just said something important before you move on to that. The increasing of the debt, the deficit, what was it that you just said?
Well,
the increase, because this is reminding me of what came up that you explained to us when they tried to take Elon Musk's $55 million compensation package, and then we started talking about how executive compensation evolved over time, and that where it seemed like a good way to do it, these executives were piling up debt on the company so that the metrics looked good, but they were actually just sucking money out of it. It sounds like you're describing the same exact thing.
It's exactly right. And so this idiot, his name is Ben LeBolt. I call him Ben LeDolt. Ben the Dolt. He's up there on Scarborough and on MSNBC. He had the gall to say the reason that people don't think or don't appreciate the success of Joe Biden is they're too busy watching The Bachelor.
The what?
The Bachelor TV show.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah, that's it.
It's not because milk is $8?
Right, exactly. Or a bagel and coffee is $6.25. I mean, that's gone.
Yeah, but they're going to put something else there.
They hope they're going to do that. That's their approach. If you don't see our point of view, it's because you're stupid. That is a ridiculous way to argue.
Well, it's a definite component of it, this moral and intellectual superiority.
Right, you're not smart enough to understand what a great job we're doing bankrupting the country and plunging
You're
us
not
into
even smart enough to be involved in the conversation. It's
Right.
classified and we're going to handle it and don't worry about it.
Right.
Get that fucking bicycle off the sidewalk. God damn it, that guy was an inch away from crashing into us, Charles.
I know.
Pops out from the corner.
Yeah.
And so Mayor Adams had this, almost like a beer summit, but it was a weed summit with these guys
Jason?
selling drugs down at the Fulton Street McDonald's, which the mall down there has just closed.
Speaking of closing,
Due to rampant crime, and the mayor goes and legitimizes these criminals, makes them feel like they're the kings of the city, meeting with the mayor. Petty weed dealers at Burger King. How stupid
he's stupid.
could you possibly be? Eric Adams
He's a moron.
is an absolute moron. And
Everything
he's also an example of how stupid individual NYPD officers are.
Look at this, all empty. This entire block so far. Maybe they're going to knock all this shit down, which is why it's all empty.
Probably. That building went, so just increase the rent until
This is
everybody
not
moves
a
out.
sign that things are going well. Yeah, the whole block is empty.
I read some book a while ago about Operation Phoenix, and it said that was in Vietnam, where the CIA terrorized civilians and killed people in the way that Hamas and the terrorists in Moscow have.
Right.
And the book said that the strategy was to weaken local law enforcement and attack the local population to make everybody afraid and move out so that real estate prices go down and you can buy homes and rent offices for your people and move them in and take over.
Exactly, which is what China is doing. I mean, look, if you don't see at this point, like, watch that, that's very dangerous.
Broken.
If you don't see, well, you step on that and go right through your shoe.
And the 3D ones too.
Yeah. If you don't see the connection between the Biden family wealth that we know about and the operations involving China, if you don't see the quid pro Joe, then you're not concentrating.
You ain't black.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So
But what about this letter that Jim Jordan sent to Burns at the CIA asking him, hey, why did you block the DOJ from investigating sugar brother Kevin Morris
Right.
And the obvious answer is because the CIA wanted Hunter to be doing what he was doing. They
Right.
love having crackheads
Right.
who are addicted to hookers who they can control with money.
Right. Actually, have you seen the John Kennedy ad?
Robert Kennedy?
John, the senator.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't see
It's
it.
hilarious. He's there. I don't know if it's recent because his hair is darker in the ad, but he says, "Hi, I'm Senator John Kennedy. If you are upset about the police brutality and want to defund the police, then I suggest when you're a victim of a crime, you call a crackhead."
Right.
He just matter of fact states that, and he's right. That's what we got here.
Yeah, but half the time when you're calling the police here, you get a crackhead.
I know. You know, it's just we have been chronicling the fall of modern Rome, walking around New York since March of 2020. You know, every
Indeed.
time we go out, there's a new, fresh set of outrages.
Yeah, that's why it's so unpleasant to go outside. And that's what I mean. They want everybody to just hate it and leave. And China says, fine, in 20 years, you know, oh, this is too expensive, $1,200 a square foot. Let's
Right.
make it
This
200.
idiot. You know, he had an accident right in front of us.
This guy?
Yeah, backing up.
Oh, yeah. What's he do?
Going down Lexington. No, he was going to go down Lexington.
What an idiot. He's got a police sticker on his car.
Of course. We can jaywalk or not. Actually, this is.
Oh, Charles, we're beyond time. We have to switch over to the First
right.
Amendment Forum. I almost lost sight of that. So please join us in less than 5 minutes on odyssey.com/@crowdsourcethetruth, crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com, and subscribestar.com and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. I put out that Lev Parnas interview on all the free channels, but I hope that people will remember I can't do this without your support and sponsorship. I would have never gotten to that Lev Parnas interview, and there's still a lot more to be done. Counter lawfare is just unrolling now, so please join us, and thanks to everybody who sponsors the show. We'll be right back.